Hi guys, so bear with me. This is one of the only ways that I found out of how to present this whole presentation to you guys. But my topic is going to be the production of ethanol via ethylene hydration. This structure on the bottom right here, this is going to be the structure for ethanol itself. Now, this is going to be the whole chemical reaction to produce ethanol, or in this process, synthetic ethanol. So what we're going to have is ethene right here reacting with water. Now water is going to be in a gaseous form, meaning it's going to be either steam or water vapor. These two are used to react with a catalyst throughout the process itself for phosphoric acid. Now this catalyst for phosphoric acid is actually coated with a solid silicon dioxide to help support or speed up the whole chemical reaction to produce ethanol. Now, when we're talking about ethylene hydration, um, ethanol is actually known to be called synthetic ethanol itself. It is one of the oldest, and it's one of the first ways people found to produce ethanol. This reaction is reversible, and it's actually an exothermic reaction too. Reversible, this is mainly talking about fermentation or the dehydration of ethylene or ethanol itself. Now, that is going to be another topic that I'm sure another student's going to talk about, but hydration can be reversed into dehydration, which is going to be called um, fermentation itself. Now, in the next slide, ethene is sourced from crude oil, which is a non-renewable resource. Now, ethanol is actually starting to become more and more in demand, more and more popular for us to use, since there are multiple ways for us to use it. So later on the years, after figuring out how to do or produce ethanol through hydration, people actually found out how to produce ethanol in a different way, which is going to be dehydration. Now, this dehydration method is widely known as the fermentation method. One thing about fermentation itself compared to hydration is it does not use crude oil. It doesn't use a non-renewable resource. It actually uses sugars, starches, and all that as a base to create ethanol. Now, since we are in abundance of all of that, it is known to be better for our economy. Um, Now, ethanol is a type of alcohol that can be used to help create antibacterial hand wipes and vinegar and even just regular alcohol itself. Since it is becoming more and more demand, we have found multiple ways to use ethanol once it's been created. Now this next slide right here, I found it to be helpful. My main topic is the hydration of ethene to produce ethanol, but since I found this chart, it's actually a great way of comparing fermentation or dehydration with the hydration of ethene. So two completely different processes that are reversible. Now, one thing about hydration of ethene compared to fermentation is it's a continuous flow. So it is a more efficient way of creating ethanol. The only downside is the resource that is used, which is going to be the crude oil. This hydration of ethene, it's going to contain high temperatures and high pressures, meaning you're going to need to put a lot of, or it's going to need a lot of energy input. Compared to fermentation, it uses gentle temperatures and atmospheric pressures. So two completely different processes, both to create ethanol itself. Now, the conclusion, ethylene is the most widely produced organic compound in the chemical industry. There is a large global demand for the compound due to its various uses. A rise to this demand has led this industry to look for alternative ways that will not use a non-renewable resource such as fermentation. So like I said, the production of ethanol through ethylene hydration is a more efficient way, but economically as it's not the best compared to fermentation itself, since fermentation, they do use other resources that we are right now in abundance of.